Hello, this is Lindro. Today we're reviewing Peppa Pig's new 2026 album, One Pig Happy Family. We're also going to get into the controversies of this album. I'm a bit late to jump on the Peppa Pig train, but just musically speaking, because I've known this swine for years now. During my childhood, I actually kind of hated her. Listen, I don't really like kids since they are a bit too annoying for me, and that's a main reason I don't have a sense of parenthood right now. And yes, when I was a kid, I found kids annoying. Was I annoying? Absolutely, but I've always had a strong sense of justice, and I noticed that many kids were not just annoying like me, they were actual assholes. And one of those kids was Peppa. Peppa was one of those kids during the first seasons. I think she matured over time. I've seen the latest episodes. She matured over the course of the 20 years the series has existed, even though she's still 4 years old because in Peppa's universe time is frozen. She treated her brother like shit and was always egocentric. She was the kind of kid to change the rules of a game during the game itself just so she could win. Some might say, are you really getting rage baited by a kid? It's just a kid, come on, you can't beef with a kid. Someone needs to make them acknowledge that, you know, they are being awful. At least you gotta scold them a little bit if ignoring or being soft doesn't work. And that's what happens with Peppa. Do you think that just because she's 4 years old, Pink Pantheress, Clairo and Charlie XCX wouldn't start a beef with her? They absolutely cooked her, literally, because Peppa, in a Pitchfork interview in the campaign for her new record, clearly pretended to not know Clairo when being asked about her, telling me that yes, she's listening to her, she's listening to her, absolutely, but she's clearly hiding her real opinion, her negative opinion on her, and not in a nice manner. Because she didn't say, oh no, I don't know Clairo that much, but I gotta listen to her. She said, Clairo? Who? She also said she likes Pink Pantheress just because she's got pink in her name. LARPer. And then Pink said, nope, not until you put respect on Clairo's name first. Charlie XCX also had to add fuel to the fire then, and Clairo herself as well. All of this tells me that Peppa the Pig is not just any innocent cartoon for children, because for well-known pop stars to actually be affected by her words, we could say Peppa is a force to be reckoned with. And let me ask you, does this translate to the music? Is Peppa's new album so transcendent in not only children's music but also pop music that there's a sense of competitiveness, including our button-nosed friend? We'll have to see. Apparently this album is about family, including the newborn Evie Pig. And yes, to everyone's surprise, and for some reason, that baby is gonna get stuck at that specific age and not stuck as a fetus forever. And this means that yes, Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig got back at it again on the muddy puddles. Those nasty pigs. After this background, I'm going to listen to the record and give my opinion on it. Okay, first track got me like, holy shit, this actually sounds good. I mean, it's no surprise that it sounds professional, it's Peppa, it's like a brand. Even though the lyrics were a bit simple, I like the Peppa sort of choir repeating in the choruses as a call and response thing. Maybe it's even repeating throughout the whole song. And this is a song about George speaking for the first time, well, not speaking for the first time, but you know, speaking logically for the first time, or maybe just saying Peppa's name for the first time. So maybe time froze a little bit here, and George's brain was able to make one more neural connection before freezing again in its development. By the way, I gotta respect the positive inclusivity that the show brings when revealing us that George has a hearing condition and has to live with hearing aids. I think this kind of representation is important and not very seen before in popular kids shows, I think. And by the way, I support this cause, particularly this cause of raising awareness about your hearing and how fragile and valuable it is. Because I myself have a hearing condition called tinnitus. Maybe this hearing condition was the reason he took a little bit late to develop his speaking abilities. You know, it explains a lot. In the second song, although not my favorite, since I think the lyricism could be a bit deeper anyways, I appreciate the fact that this reminds me of a Dua Lipa song that you would find in Future Nostalgia. I can actually see the influence of her in Peppa when bringing this disco element to the music with more modern production. I just wish it did more because it still sounds a little basic and even AI generated by 2026 standards. I can really see the appeal of this song though, it's a fan favorite. It sounds glamorous and modern and clean. But it just stays a little bit derivative to me, or maybe not derivative, maybe just not very remarkable. Third song, and the structure starts being a bit too repetitive at this point, and reminds me of how hateable the kick plus clap with tambourines pattern is. We've got calmer songs also, as they are in their choir version for the British choir kids to sing, such as the theme song but in a more theatrical way. I find Peppa's Lullaby choir version to be particularly endearing. I feel like I'm a little toddler again, slipping to a very beautiful lullaby, maybe from Baby TV. You got the pizzicato, the strings and the eventual chimes, as if you're deeply falling asleep on your bed, which then ascends living through the window of the castle you were in. And then when you're up there, the stars start looking at you, singing and saying, "Look at this new life." Oh, the times where I was a confused little creature, when I didn't even know what the economy or sex was. I miss being a toddler. But that was the sort of vibe that the production, the sound of it, gave me. But aside from that, nothing too special really. It's just saying good night Peppa, good night George, and nothing poetic that would match my concept of what this kind of lullaby is or sounds like. And in the last song we completely forget about that and immediately join the dance floor again, leave our plastic cup with soda on the table and join Peppa and her friends on their particular little dance to a more electronic remix of the Bing Bong Zoo song, which to me is bearable. It's the least favorite for many people as it sounds a little brain rot. It sounds adequate for a kid's song, it's just a little silly but nothing bad about it. But of course, nothing remarkable either. Is this a bad album? At first I thought it was quite middle ground, but I see the flaws now. So yeah, kinda bad, but not the worst thing ever. I just think this needed more originality and substance. And Peppa, I thought that if this album was gonna be named One Big Happy Family, at least you would care a bit more about that concept. The concept of family is something I was preparing for. You didn't sing about your new sibling, just George. I thought you were going to teach us more about the value of family, parenthood, fraternity, you know. What's the purpose of naming your album that? What's going on? It just wasted potential. Also, I would have wanted the structures and styles to not be so repetitive and the lyrics to not be so superficial. Although I cannot complain too much about this because it's meant for children to sing, so I understand it. I mean, for some reason that genre is called children's music. Each music genre has a different purpose, I know. Although if you make children's music that's both suitable for little kids and adults, and it gives them both a good experience that they can share, then that's a remarkable project. Unfortunately, that's not what Peppa achieves here, although as I've said, maybe it is the least of my complaints. And also 17 minutes for an album is a bit disappointing. And the pacing of this short amount of time is kind of clumsy, with the last minute addition of that dance track at the end after those choir tracks. Is there potential with, in what these tracks are trying to achieve? Definitely. The first track surprised me greatly, but sorry Peppa, girl, you can do better. You gotta work more to surpass Olivia the Pig if you actually want to be that girl boss you wanna be. When it comes to pigs, of course. So I'm sorry, but I'm a little disappointed, and I've got to be honest. And I'm going to give this one 2.9 out of 10. Well, I don't think I will give a lower score this year. A little harsh, I know, but I don't want you guys to send Peppa's official account pictures of bacon asking for ransom, saying those are her parents. Please don't do that. I think Peppa's matured personally a little, but not musically. Thank you for watching this review, and that's pretty much it. See you next time.